G'day everyone. These past couple of days have been full of donuts with no fish being shot. That's because we have been chasing Mulloway, commonly known as jewfish. These are some clips from diving with some buddies I made shore diving. We checked out some spots to see if we could try spear a big one. I tried using my throw flasher to try and lure something big out of these spots, but as you can see, nothing was seen. But just like fishing, you just gotta be patient and try again. In the next week, I had success.
The swell had finally decided to pick up for this week, and with the currents rushing as well, I knew that could only mean one thing. It was the ideal conditions for chasing Mulloway. Swimming past the breakers was a bit of a challenge, but once I had gotten past them, swimming to the reef would finally be a breeze. After getting out there, I was greeted with some amazing visibility, which is quite rare when it's very rough and there's swell and strong currents. Normally the visibility isn't very good. Once I got to the reef, I decided to pull out my throw flasher and see if I could try attract any pelagics if they were hanging around in the area. However, I wasn't able to bring in any, as there weren't any there that day. There was plenty of baitfish swimming around, which was awesome to get on film. And it wasn't long until I ran into my first Mulloway. And just like that, I cooked it. Look, I'm not proud of this shot, but I don't like to hide anything. I like to show everything that happens. But yeah, after that, I realized that dive bombing these fish is not the way to go. I loaded up my gun again and decided not to give up. It's still too early in the dive. So I patrolled the reef some more to see if I could find another Mulloway. and it wasn't long until I got a second chance at trying to nail these fish. I had overestimated how big this Mulloway was, and because of that I thought I was really close, and I was gutted. As you can see here, when I pulled the trigger and the shaft went to go into the Mulloway, it just bounced off it. The Rob Allen 7-point shaft just bounced off this thing, it didn't even phase it. I was too far away to get a holding shot, but I did not give up. I was determined to bring home a Mulloway, so I loaded up my gun again, swam around the reef to see if I could find another one, and it wasn't long till I found another Mulloway. I had to play this one smart. I knew if I dive bombed this thing again, I would lose another chance of getting a Mulloway. These fish are very smart, and as you can see in the previous clips, dive bombing them was not the way to go. I dived behind a reef to gain some cover. That way I could try close the gap between these Mulloway and myself. Boom skis! Secured a holding shot. After shooting this Mulloway, I didn't realize that my shaft got caught on the reef below, so I had to go back down and try see if I could free it from the reef. I knew I'd be in a bit of trouble if I couldn't. At this point I had realized I had forgotten my dive knife. I left it in the car. Guys, don't be like me. When you're going out there, it's important that you bring a dive knife. Because if this spear shaft had gotten stuck, I would have been in a bit of, not a bit, but in big trouble. I was very lucky that I was able to pull this spear shaft out of the reef. I was stoked after that. My first decent sized Mulloway. This one ended up going up around 87 centimeters. And once I finally secured it,
Mulloway.
in Queensland, you're only allowed to keep one per person, and the minimum length is 75 centimeters. Once I had put the fish out of its misery, I placed it on my float line and decided to call it after that. The sun was starting to go down and I did not want to be in the water after dark. I was knackered by the time I swam back to shore. Once I had got home and measured this fish, it was around 87 centimeters. I was just gutted that those two Mulloway that I missed, they were much bigger, probably around the 98 to 1 meter mark. After processing that fish, I decided to use one whole fillet off of that fish to make teriyaki. Start off by cutting off the fish fillets into tiny pieces so that I can marinate them in teriyaki sauce. I decided that the Mulloway teriyaki would go down nicely with some egg omelets and rice. This teriyaki sauce that I'm using is from Woolworths. You can buy them in a jar already made from Woolworths or Coles. What I like to do is I like to smother the Mulloway pieces and just rub it around there, let it marinate for a good couple of hours. crack open some eggs. I decided to use 8 as I'm feeding full mouths tonight. Whisk it up, include some pepper and salt in there too. Get those omelets ready, as the fish can cook very quickly. Once the pan is hot enough, it should only take around 6 minutes for the fish to cook. I like to add a saucepan lid on the top, as it helps keep the flavour of the fish. Once that's all ready and prepared, get your rice out, add it to a plate, and it should go down nicely. This meal was a big hit with the family that night. They loved every bit of it.
Teriyaki Mulloway.
Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and liked the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. So, Mr. Simpson, you admit you terrorized those fish?
What do you have to say in your defense? Mr. Simpson, your silence will only incriminate you further. No, Mr. Simpson, don't take your anger out on me. Get back! Get back! Mr. Simpson, no! Dramatization may not have happened.